Vehicle Hunter here. Today we're going to review this thing. It's a Ford F350 diesel Super Duty from 2011. I really like driving it. When I do drive this thing, it feels really good to start up that engine. It's a 6.7 Power Stroke mirrors. These are freaking large mirrors. I mean, this is really large. And you ask yourself, why do I need these large mirrors? You need it to tow like machines and stuff like that. And if you look in the back here, you know, this truck has been used to tow a lot of these machines and trailers and stuff like that. So this car really gets a lot of use. It's a off-road package, so it is four-wheel drive. This is a work truck, so it sees a lot of heavy usage. This is a pretty high bed, and you really have to like lift it up even higher. So I prefer like the two-wheel drive pickup trucks just for construction, just because it's a little bit like lower, and if you have to keep like lifting things up to put it in the bed, you get kind of way more tired. Ford really did a really good job styling the truck, but I don't feel it's the most reliable pickup truck out there. Construction company, and you use trucks for construction, you're pretty much limited by a few trucks. Like there's the Ford, there's the Chevy, and then there's like the Dodge. The Toyota Tundra probably would be a much more reliable truck to have in the long run, but I'm not really sure it can handle the large amount of towing that this one can do. One of the things that really annoys me about these diesel pickup trucks, these newer ones, is this. You have diesel, of course, but then you have this diesel exhaust fluid that you have to keep buying, and it's really annoying. One thing that a lot of people don't realize nowadays, because of the whole emissions thing with diesels, you have to add this fluid that cleans out your exhaust or something like that. So on top of the diesel being much more expensive, it's a little bit more expensive, not much more, but these things do use up quite a bit of fuel. For such a large truck, it gets close to 20 miles to the gallon, which is really good, but still terrible for a vehicle. So on top of the $3, say for diesel, you have to add this liquid. So when you compute that into your you know, miles that you do on this truck, it is much more expensive because you have to buy it. If you forget to fill this up, the computer on board will actually give you like a warning. If you run out, the whole truck will stop working. You will have to go and get the this liquid in order to have it work. The inside, it's pretty cheap. Like, it's just hard plastic everywhere. You do have a knob here to control your mirror, electric power locks, and electric windows, which is really nice on a pickup truck. But you can see this, it's got some storage here. If you work in construction, you're going to be using as much storage as you can. This is a regular cab, but it does have some space back here to store tools. It's not much, but you can like put levels, tape measures, gloves, things that you would need. This truck really is really cool to start. I love the sound that it makes. You have your transmission right here, and handbrake here. And it starts right up. It's a really cool looking dash too. It's a little bit more modern. Right now you can see I'm on or two-wheel drive. Tells you the temperature outside, the mileage. It's got the engine check light on the dials here on the truck, which are nice to change the cruise control. This truck just sounds really, really cool. Pop the hood. This is the engine. Pretty loud engine when you open up the hood. Let's head on out. You know, for a truck that's really, really large, and it's got a 6.8 liter engine, this thing actually gets relatively decent mileage. 9 to 10 miles to the gallon towing heavy machinery. Now, I know that's terrible mileage, but you're towing like a large machine, so it's pretty consistent at like 10 miles per gallon. But get this, if you are driving this car and you're not hauling any weight, and you can put like a bunch of weight in the back and use it as a pickup truck, it gets a consistent like 17 to 20 miles to the gallon. This thing is pretty massive. Like the road presence is pretty intimidating, I think, for a lot of people. The one thing I really hate about this pickup truck is that you have to use the exhaust fluid. And there are ways of bypassing that fluid. There's like this kit that you can get for like $1,000 that you can remove it. But then when you go to sell it, it might be a really large problem. And a Ford F350, the suspension is pretty hard. So every bump that you hit, you're gonna feel it. It does feel pretty cool driving something so massive. And it's nice having this really large engine in the front with massive torque. You feel the torque in these diesel engines. Something that not a lot of people understand, and like the appeal of it, the appeal of the, say, a Volkswagen TDI. It does have torque, it's fun to drive. This thing is kind of fun to drive. The only downside is that it's such a large vehicle. You can't really like drive it to the city and parallel park easily. But then again, like, why would you want to drive this to the city, right? This is to do work. I've always liked the regular cabs instead of the extended cabs because you can see much better. Initially, getting these trucks is really good. They work really well out of the shops, but keeping this pickup truck running is quite expensive. The reason it keeps getting these Ford F350s, 250s, 650s is that there's no other competition from, say, Toyota or Honda. If there were affordable pickup trucks that could haul as much weight, I don't think he would be interested in getting a Ford F350. So that's the Ford F350 little review. It's a great truck. The only problem is that there's very few trucks that can haul this sort of weight, and it's a rather unreliable vehicle to keep in the long run. If you don't have a construction company or you don't need to haul a lot of weight, a Toyota Tundra would make a much better vehicle for you. But if you are in construction, you need to haul weight, you're limited to these trucks. And it's not like the most reliable vehicle in the world. It does require a lot of maintenance, and the newer Ford F350s, 250s, all of these trucks have a lot of electronics that could go wrong, and they do go wrong when you work in construction. All stuff seems to break when you're using these trucks as they were meant to be used.